Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Very warm welcome. CPEC is a household name in Pakistan. It's a pilot project of a larger global project undertaken by the Chinese called One Belt, One Road. And the amazing part is the belt is most of it on the dry land, and many of the roads, what they call are the marine roads, and that connects trade between Asia and Pacific. Experts say if it continues, China would be the epicenter of trade and center of trade of Pacific Ocean and Atlantic Ocean, and that is change of guards at the global level. Superpowers are obviously changing hands. Pakistan is very fortunate that CPEC is the pilot project where a large investment is coming, and it has opportunity for all sectors, agriculture, manufacturing and social sector as well. Ministry of Planning and Development is single-handedly handling the project in Pakistan, and obviously with consultation with Chinese counterpart and stakeholders in Pakistan, working on project and executing different projects, that is planning and development. Today we have project director of CPEC in Planning Commission, Mr. Hassan Daud Butt. What's a very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
How would you say where the CPEC is right now at the moment, and what the CPEC is, just in few lines, and where you are at the moment?
Thank you so much, sir. And first of all, I would like to thank you, sir, and also the management of SGPI for providing us an opportunity to come here and speak about the most important initiative, I would say, not only for Pakistan but also for the region. Also, I would, in your opening statement, you said that single-handedly, but I assure you, sir, this is not single-handedly. It's a team effort. Line ministries are involved. Also, BOI, Board of Investment, is actively involved, and as a team, each one of us is working hard to ensure that this dream is realized. So, coming back to your question, CPEC, sir, is an initiative which, and the history, as you know, it goes back to 2013, and when the leadership on both sides met, it was decided that CPEC would be undertaken incrementally, phase by phase, and I believe, as Deng Xiaoping said, that if you want to cross the river, you must walk pebble by pebble. So it was decided that we will walk pebble by pebble, and certain targets were set. In those targets, 2017 and 18 was target for completion of early harvest project, and then there was short-term, mid-term and long-term timelines. Those were given to all the stakeholders so that we can have a focused and time-oriented approach towards completion of this project. So Alhamdulillah, today early harvest projects are almost either in the phase of bearing fruit, or also some of them are under implementation. As we speak, about $18.5 billion of projects are actually on ground. There are 19 projects which include projects in the energy sector, it includes projects in the infrastructure, there are projects in social sector, there are projects in Gwadar, and of course with the early harvest projects, we would like to move into the industrial development and cooperation phase, and as per the guidance of the leadership, that phase has also begun. So Alhamdulillah, CPEC, in terms of timeline, in terms of its progression, is moving as per the desire of the leadership and as was conceived in 2013. I would also just take a moment to say that, of course, in 2013 the MOU was signed, and the strategic relationship between Pakistan and China was conceived to now be transformed into geo-economic relationship, so that it should be win-win situation for us, for China, and of course for the region at large. And during our recent visit for Belt and Road Forum, we really realized the importance of Pakistan when CPEC was heralded as the key project, the project with fastest progress, and the project which is ready to deliver. So we were very proud when we
Right.
were attending.
You're talking about early harvest. What is early harvest? I mean, if we want to give our audience just a physical shape, are you connecting road to road from Punjab to Gwadar and all the projects?
Ji.
Just name a few.
You know, conceptually, early harvest project means that the bottlenecks, those were, you know, identified, as I said, in 2013, which were primarily in the energy sector, because as you know, there was scarcity of energy, there was lots of load shedding. And of course, when the two sides met and we had expert level discussion, it was also identified that our infrastructure is not compatible with the kind of development we are envisaging with respect to CPEC. So when it comes to early harvest project, we believe that around 7,000 megawatt of energy would be available in the circuit, which includes Sahiwal project, which is
Additional.
of course additional through CPEC. Sahiwal project has already 1320 megawatt is available. Inshallah, this year we will have Port Qasim projects. 3 wind projects are already there, and of course, you know, mobilization for the hydel projects, which include Sukhi Kanari, Kohala, Karot, have already been taken place. So there's lots of projects, and of course the Qaid-e-Azam Solar Park 300 megawatt have already been in the circuit, and yes, and so in terms of development, both in the energy sector and now coming over to the infrastructure, lots of progress have been made as per the timelines, because we are expecting that by end of 2018 the western corridor will be completed in the eastern corridor, inshallah, will be completed in 2019, and that's more or less part of our PSDP.
Western corridor would be completed earlier.
It will be completed earlier.
But the projects are being implemented along the eastern side.
No, there are projects.
I mean, Sahiwal and other.
Of course, I mean that's the energy part. Of course, in Sukhi Kanari remains in KPK. So and of course, Sindh has an advantage of being close to the ocean, and of course, in the wind corridor and Thatha, Jampir area, that's where. So they have an added natural advantage, and of course that was conceived when the experts, energy experts, were there. But what I want to highlight is that in terms of infrastructure, within CPEC there are only 4 projects, which includes a portion in KKH, which includes a portion in motorway between Karachi till Peshawar, the Sakhar Multan section. It includes upgradation and expansion of ML1. So in that
ML1 is
mainline 1, railway mainline 1, and
it means it would be a dual carriage railway system with the largest track, with a bigger track.
Yes, but as we speak, the scope of
through and through,
and as we speak, the financial arrangements are being worked out between the two parties. So the infrastructure project, inshallah, will be delivering on time. The energy is already, as I said, and besides the CPEC project, there are other projects which are being undertaken by the government through PSDP. So inshallah, we expect and believe that as part of the project team, that the phases wise decision was as was conceived is progressing well, and according to the timeline. But I would also highlight, using this opportunity, that we have a very elaborate progress review mechanism. We have of course the joint coordination committee, which meets with China. It's co-chaired by our Minister of Planning and Development from our side, and of course the Vice Chairman and DRC on the Chinese side. So within that we have joint working groups. We have a joint working group for energy, we have a joint working group for infrastructure, we also have joint working group for planning and Gwadar project. So so you could imagine this.
What is the progress on Gwadar? I mean, because I understand the berths which are being connected are being built in Karachi and they are ready.
Absolutely.
And the chairman of the standing committee had been saying that it's the eastern part which is being Gwadar. Is it true?
I believe that after APC in 2015, such apprehensions are no more there, and there's total consensus as far as CPEC alignment and CPEC projects are concerned, and you would, if you follow the news post 2015 APC, you would realize that each stakeholder, or each provincial leader and the stakeholder within the provincial government is keen to accrue maximum benefit from CPEC. During our 6th JCC meeting, which was held, all provincial leaders were there, and they were keen to synergize the effort being made. Also, during the visit of our Honorable Prime Minister, Mohammed Nawaz Sharif Saab in May for the Belt and Road Forum, all provincial leaders were there. So there is synergy, and also, as I said now, that our bottlenecks, inshallah, will be removed by 2018. We consider that the stage is set for industrialization of CPEC.
What are the bottlenecks? Just quickly.
The bottlenecks.
We'll ask you at the fag end.
The bottlenecks, of course, were energy. That was, and of course, was poor infrastructure. But now, hopefully.
Before we go to the break, I think I should ask you about the industrial zone and we were thinking. And one of the Chinese was saying that the bulk of the thing that is exported and has a name made in China would be exported from Pakistan, made in China, and the relocation of their manufacturing and all that. What is the progress on that?
I think it's progressing very well. We have had 2 meetings of the Joint Working Group on Industrial Cooperation. Board of Investment now has the lead role in as far as industrial cooperation. Of course, we remain the main coordinator for each of the activities therein, but they have the lead role as industry. 9 industrial zones have been identified and have been in principle approved.
Which are?
In Islamabad, there is one in Islamabad, there is one, and this is for federal, and then there is one in the federal land in Port Qasim. There is Rashakai in KP, there is Bhimber in AJK, there is Mokpandas in Gilgit-Baltistan, and in Bostan in Balochistan. So each provincial
Bostan and
Balochistan. So each
that is close to Quetta.
That's close to Quetta. But what I want to highlight is that
in fact on Quetta Chaman Road.
And all these zones were identified there by the respective provincial government prior to our departure for 6th JCC.
Right.
So and as the coordinator for CPEC projects, I would also highlight that there's very good positive synergy amongst all the stakeholders in terms of knowledge sharing, in terms of positive competition, in terms of demonstrating speed of work for each economic zone, like for example Rashakai, like for in Punjab, of course, in Sindh, and each economic zone authority or agency within their own provincial hierarchy is working very hard.
Right. So here we take a break, and after the break, after this initial premise, we would analyze further. We'll do a little bit more autopsy and come forward for some conclusion later on in the third part of the program. So please stay with us.
It's diverse.
It's original.
It's SDTV.
Welcome back. So, I mean, that is the outlay, and it's fully transparent. I mean, as the politicians and the opposition, and we heard time and again that this has been done and the alignment is not fully transparent. But people say,
I think it's extremely transparent. It's the most transparent project I believe that has been undertaken in our history. This is one project in which each Pakistani could be proud of. Of course, experts have their opinion, and we respect opinion of each expert, and there are think tanks and expert groups who provide us information, provide us guidance, and of course we can improve. But what I mean to say is that in terms of transparency, in terms of efficiency, and I believe in terms of effectiveness, this is one project in which each Pakistani could be. And when I say effectiveness, I mean that in social sector, of course, there's lots of work being done. HEC under their Vision 2025 is aligning CPEC with their vision. Just recently, we have had a consultative conference, I would say, with the Chinese counterpart for our HEC. There were about 9 representatives of different Chinese universities. So we want to link universities.
Educate, obviously.
Yes, and because we want to build capacity of our young endowment, I would say, that we have in terms of youth and in terms of the capabilities of our
youth endowment. Right.
Besides this university collaboration, we are also working on establishing a consortium, a business school in consortium with about 6 top business schools from Pakistan, linking them with top 6 business schools in China, and that the TORs for that has been finalized by HEC and of course by Planning Commission, and now we are sharing them. We have already shared them with the Chinese, but now we're moving a step further in our discussion with our counterpart NDRC. Also, we are working on establishing Pakistan Academy for Social Sciences, similar in lines with Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, and we have had discussion with Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. We are also working on developing on NAVTEC and also vocational center, and in that respect, vocational center at Gwadar would play a key role because that's being developed as state-of-the-art vocational center, and of course that would be something that they can emulate and follow the development of our the vocational center. We are also working on establishing vocational center along the corridor, so the capacity of our youth and capacity of our workmen could be improved. We can accrue maximum benefit from these projects, and of course, because the time of this this program is short and there's lots to talk about, I'll just highlight that with early harvest project we've been able to generate around more than 35,000 jobs as per the data that is available to us. In infrastructure project, 80% work is being done by Pakistani, and this includes of course direct employment and indirect employment. And then in energy project, because of the technology involved and of course those projects being in independent private partnership, the percentage is on Pakistan side is around more than 69%, between 69 to 70. So that's a good sign, and it indicates how this project would grow. And of course, this is just the initial stage. When we develop our expertise, when we develop our confidence on undertaking projects, this would grow further. I want to again use this opportunity that we are also engaging Chinese experts to help us building capacity of the talent that we have available, channelizing that talent. Recently, the Chinese expert group was here on industrial cooperation, and there was very open and candid discussion with them with respect to the incentives that are offered in the industrial zones, the incentive package that is being worked out by BOI. And why I want to highlight is that, of course, for when we talk of industrial development and industrial cooperation, there is also competition within the region. We have Laos, we have Cambodia, we have Vietnam, which are offering incentives for Chinese investors, because Chinese of course have capital. But the added advantage that Pakistan has, that we have a strong relationship at all forums with Chinese,
and geographic proximity.
Understanding of approach, similarity of approach on CPEC, on Belt and Road Forum, and of course other national and international issues. So that is one aspect that is helping us.
Okay, that brings us to, obviously, if you are here, we are going to ask you a few questions which we very often heard from the people. One is on the transparency, as I asked you. The other is that the key provinces, the Pakistan is not negotiating one road, one belt well with Chinese. For example, our old friend writes in newspaper every now and then that the corporate farming is coming, the produce would be made and that would be exported, and they will be, investor would be earning, and all the dams which are they are going to build would be used to irrigate that project. And I mean the virgin, for example, Nasirabad, it has such a potential that it can sustain all food needs of Balochistan and KPK and some part of Punjab together without it. It's said that it's more than 1/3. I don't want to go into statistics to be pointed out, but they say it's about canal command area is sizable if they convert it. Then Chagi district alone, there was a survey. So one question is that Pakistan is not negotiable. Second, then in the key provinces, Gilgit Baltistan, I mean, hearsay that they have blown away the part of glacier for minerals, they're taking away the herbs and all that medicine, and they're converting damage to the environment. How do you, I mean,
you see,
what do you talk about? Its benefit is more than the losses. Obviously, if you do development, there would be some loss. They will accrue some loss. But if the benefit is much larger, then it's a viable project.
You see, each one of the stakeholder, think tanks, the bureaucracy, the political leadership, or irrespective of area that they belong to, believe that there is an opportunity.
Right.
When we were there in Belt and Road Forum, and there were sessions within the forum, Pakistan remained the center point, and I've lived in China for close. I've lived in China for close to 4 years, and that was one of the times that I really felt proud of being a Pakistani, because Pakistan was center of attraction. There was a lot of talk about Pakistan. President Xi Jinping mentioned about Pakistan.
Yeah, many times.
Yes, and the MOUs that were signed were of strategic importance. For example, the MOU for Gwadar Airport was signed for the grant agreement. Then ML1, of course, it's a strategic project for Pakistan. It would transform the way that we do our business. It would transform.
Goes till Khunjerab?
I mean, at this stage, of course, we just expanding the existing lines, but of course, in future we would see.
Peshawar, Karachi, and Quetta.
Yeah, and also
Quetta as well.
We're working till Peshawar right now. The teams are working on the scope of work. Yeah, of course, that would translate into
finding it out.
Yeah, and the existing line would, I'm sure you know that the speed, the current average speed is close to 65 kilometers per hour, and we want to transform it and improve it to about 135 kilometers. So you can imagine the change. Of course, the road infrastructure would develop. This would not only improve trade, it would also improve tourism. You see, and if international tourism come to Pakistan, we have beautiful landscape available both at north and then at the coastal belt that we have. God has been kind to Pakistan. Yes, of course. In terms of energy, when you ask, now we have coal available to us, and that provides us energy, and that provides us security of energy. So, alhamdulillah, I mean, there's a countless limit of opportunities that we have. But in terms of your question, that whether we have I think we have negotiated it well, and of course,
you think so?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe
and when we, if you look at the 2000, and there these documents are available. If you look at the MOU of 2013, if you look at the monographic study that was held in 2015, and of course, we are, as we speak, working in a consultative manner with Chinese, of course, experts group on Pakistan side are sitting. We're working on long-term plan to accrue maximum benefit from this opportunity.
Say something on the social side.
Yeah, and thank you for giving me that opportunity. As I said, capacity development is important. And let's start from Gwadar. We're working on Gwadar Hospital, which will be transformed from a 50-bed hospital to, inshallah, 300-bed state-of-the-art hospital with all the requisite facilities available. We are working, as I said, on Gwadar University. We are working on establishing the vocational center at Gwadar. So with this transformation, and of course there are certain other important projects that are being done by different stakeholders there, like boat building training, and of course other vocational training. Like there is a scope of work that is available, like for tug operators, for boat handlers, for marshallers. So these are the areas that we are working on.
That would retain opportunity available to the local population.
Of course, it is for local population. And this question is, it's one of the widely asked questions.
No, it's
you see when a country,
just to once bitten, twice shy. The gas was their real estate. It was their property, but was given to Karachi and Lahore and all that.
You see,
opportunity is Gwadar. Gwadar is the main opportunity, and the benefit they are going to accrue to the other part of the country, and Gwadar remain, and ultimately the local population is converted into, that's a doomsday for them.
Absolutely, but the good news is that there's an airport being built there,
right.
And of course that would generate jobs, that would improve capacity. The master plan for Gwadar is being developed, so that Gwadar in 50 years could be transformed into one of the best sport cities available. And when this city will transform, when this development would come, I think the best and first beneficiaries are always the local people. If you look at, you can always talk about certain aspect of development when you look at the historical development that has taken place. If you look at Singaporean, which is a very smaller place, look at the benefits that if you look at China, even Shenzhen, and as I said, I've lived there. Shenzhen, Guangzhou, the coastal belt, and now Xinjiang. The development is always, it begins with the local population. It cannot, but of course, and when you said about will it benefit Pakistan, it will benefit Pakistan, because when the industrial will, when the industry would move to Pakistan, it could be China, because these industrial zones are not China specific. They are open for all potential investor who is in of course, when they are developed. For Pakistanis, we also on part of the government initiative and BOI's work on developing the industrial zones. We are working on helping establish joint ventures. Joint ventures help develop capacity on both sides. Understanding, when we work on cross-regional projects, it helps and develop understanding, and it generates regional connectivity. So inshallah, with all these projects coming in,
we should be hopeful.
We should be hopeful. We should be ready. We should be preparing well. And when I say preparing well, I also teach in some of the universities, and I go and talk about projects management. And I believe that the younger generation, which of course would be the true beneficiaries of CPEC, are ready, are willing to undertake development. They are gearing themselves up. They are building their capacity. Project management, which is an outward sort of area, but now I see more and more girls joining projects management, which is a healthy sign. And inshallah, with this capacity development, with this, and of course you can see lots of China, Pakistan centers being established, so that our understanding of their language. And in China, I recently went there and I had a discussion with one of their think tank, and they told me there are about 14 already established Pakistan centers in their university. So their understanding is developing, of course, and culture, and how to do business, how to do work.
Right.
So this will develop synergy with Belt and Road Forum, Belt and Road Initiative there with a bigger envelope, CPEC progressing well as per timeline. Inshallah, there is bright future for Pakistan.
So here we take another break, and after the break we would give a chance to our guest to conclude and give us some, nuggets or snippets for the future. to conclude this discussion on some note. So please stay with us.
It's diverse.
It's original.
It's SDTV.
Welcome back. We had a long discussion, and in limited time we discussed what. Give us some snippet. Give it some conclusion towards the end. Leave us with some thought.
I believe that CPEC is an opportunity that has come our way. Each and every stakeholder is willing and is gearing up to accrue maximum benefit. Social sector projects are coming. So now, when you talk of academia, when you talk of business community, when you talk of say government sector, public sector, each one of us has an opportunity to grow, to develop, and with their development, of course, our great country would develop. Of course, there is an opportunity for the region to develop through CPEC and of course Belt and there's if you look at the impact factor, of course, when Pakistan develops and when the region develops, of course, the world at large would inshallah develop. So there is a win-win situation for us, and of course we must accrue maximum benefit, and alhamdulillah, so far CPEC has been performed well, and we would request your support and support of all the entire nation to be prepared to look at the opportunities and work for their future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming on the program. And with this, we come to the end of the program. Next time, next guest, next topic. So please keep watching our programs.